Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And it's been a while, but we're coming back with some crazy news right now. The Ravens just did a trade with the Las Vegas Raiders, two first round picks, one this year, another one next year, to acquire the superstar edge rusher, Maxx Crosby. This is the pass rusher we've been desperately needing for years. I'm
Yeah,
talking years, like ever since I would say 2019. We've been working with mid pass rushers and we've
yeah,
been working with just project guys, and we finally got that superstar that we've been needing. And just to get right into it, I feel like this is a calling card that's saying that the Ravens are definitely all in. You
yeah,
know, we're all in. We've done something that we never done before, and that's trade first round picks.
yep.
We know how hoardful and hoarding EDC is of his first round picks and his draft picks, and to see us do something we've never done before. We've done that a lot this offseason. We fired Harbaugh, we revamped the whole coaching staff.
Yeah,
You know, trading first round picks now for superstars. I mean,
too.
two, yeah, two. Hopefully this is a changing of the chapter, that we've been used to in Baltimore, and we can finally start cashing them in for some rings now. But, just looking at the, defense now as it stands, I mean, you got Mads. I saw a Twitter video of him earlier. He was working out. Like he was slamming the ball down on the ground, the
You can't be
strength
doing
ball.
that if you can't use your neck, you
Yeah,
know?
you can't be doing that. You gotta use your neck. No homo. So, he's doing that. We might get Mads back. We still got big Travis
Oh
Jones.
my God, I
He's
didn't even think about that. Matabike, if there's edge pressure now, and he's gonna
yes,
have Matabike and Travis Jones up the middle, man. Oh my
yes.
God.
I mean, we got John Jenkins there. We just re-signed him to a 1 year deal, but hopefully we can bring in another D tackle that can really just be that, third depth.
Peoples, bring it. Let Peoples eat.
Yeah,
Let
let
Peoples
his guys
eat.
eat. Yeah, let him eat.
Like if so look, our current defensive front looks like, Travis Jones, Matabike, if Matabike comes back. That's a big if. But
Right.
that's a question mark right now. But it seems like he might be coming back. So Matabike, Travis Jones, you got Max Crosby on the edge. Your other edge rusher is to be determined. It seems like right now it would probably be Tavius Robinson or Mike Green. But I would bring back Draymond Jones. Like, I think we've proven over the years now that you can't have too many of something, especially positions of value like that with edge rushers, running backs, cornerbacks, wide receivers, whatever. You can't have too much of it.
Right.
So I would bring back Draymond Jones personally if you're not going to make another splash move at edge, which you're probably not. I mean, I can't imagine the Ravens are going to go after Trey Hendrickson now or Deshaun Gary, but I don't think he's released.
That
So
would
I
just
don't.
be greedy. That would just be greedy if they would
I
do that.
know, but look. Sometimes you got to double dip. Like it's. I mean, in all seriousness, like it tastes good once, you may want to taste it good. Again. I said again. I'm so excited, you right now. But anyways,
Yeah.
I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, if we want to double dip, I'm all for it. I'm double dipping too. But just in general, this is a great move. As we saw from the past, three Super Bowl champions, the Seahawks this past season, the Eagles last year, the Chiefs before that, they all had great D lines. And we saw what the Eagles D line was able to do to Patrick Mahomes. We saw what the Seahawks D line did to Drake May. I mean, both of those games were dominated in the
Mhm.
trenches. And I feel like, the Ravens front office definitely saw that. And, this is really taking a step towards that. So,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of this move. We have, three superstars on defense now, Crosby, well, four, Mads, if he comes back, Crosby, Roquan, and then Kyle, and having all of them under a mentor-led defense with the assistance of Anthony Weaver, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be insane, and I feel like the Ravens are definitely going to be back.
Right.
And I have some ideas of, on defense, what I want them to add next, but we'll save that for another video. But I mean, a part of me is excited for what's next.
I know,
This is
man. I'm like,
already the first step, and this a long off season too. Like this is not even scratching the surface. So I'm just curious, what's next? We really gotta
yeah.
build on to this. We really gotta erase the stench of last season. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it to you. What you thinking about this?
I think my face isn't enough. I'm fucking happy, man. Like this is exactly what I've been wanting. I felt like the Ravens started to kind of, you know, move into a different direction, when they went to go get OBJ 2 years ago. I think maybe that was probably more of a tactic for the Lamar's negotiations at the time, but it maybe felt like, they were willing to do something uncomfortable to make other people's comfortable, going out of their comfort zone, and I feel like they hadn't really done too much outside of like Henry and Jair Alexander, but there wasn't major moves on the team. And with the way 2025 went, I think a lot of that isn't some of it is players' fault, but it's also a lot coaching's fault.
Yeah,
And we knew what we needed to do to become contenders again. We needed to get rid of the staff that we had. It was even a conversation that maybe we need to get rid of everybody, like in the front office, like all of that. That was a whole conversation in itself. Obviously, they didn't get rid of everybody in the front office. They did get rid of the whole coaching staff, but we needed a culture change with the Ravens. Or maybe not a culture change, but getting back to something. Getting back to the Ravens way, dominating defense. And but adding more to it with Lamar Jackson now. Like imagine like the 2000 Ravens with like Lamar Jackson. Like you get what I'm saying, like or like even 2012's Ravens with Lamar Jackson. You get what I'm saying? So like now we're talking about hopefully great defenses paired up with a two-time, should be three-time MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So, and on top of that, I imagine that the deal is going to get done with him now. An extension, I mean, free up more cap space, to make it more accessible to get other guys in free agency. And because I think Crosby's cap hit's insane right now. So,
yeah,
I thought it was something like 40 something million or 50 something million. So we can't have two guys in the cap making 70 and 50 million dollars in 1 year. That's almost like probably half of the cap. So but I would imagine by Saturday, late Saturday, early Sunday, even Monday, I would imagine that we're going to get an alert about a Lamar extension coming soon. He made a tweet out today. I think maybe he already knew the Crosby was going to get traded for.
yeah.
Or it was an extension and a trade, so it's bonus for him.
He also puts on his story the Lindor, and then he had this sort of like
Did
wood
he?
thing. I don't know if that was a
Hold on,
Lindor
hold on. Let me look
type
real
of
quick.
cryptic message or whatever.
I
But
think I saw that on Twitter, but I think that was fake.
what?
Yeah, that was fake.
I fell for that shit.
Yeah, every time you see something like that, like you just gotta look, you gotta go to the story. But they were talking about a story earlier, but that's a whole different thing. But I don't think Linderbaum's coming back, but that's also another whole conversation. But I mean, man, like I didn't expect this. I fully expected him to be on his way to Dallas or or Philadelphia or even like New England or something like that. Like or imagine if Seattle got him. You know this is new territory for the Ra All of this has been new territory from coaches speak to actions off the field now to now trading of draft picks, like not just trading of draft picks, but you just traded two first rounders and you just traded a first round pick for the first time in your franchise's history for another player. I think
Yeah,
that speaks enough of how good Max Crosby is. I
yeah,
think that speaks enough for a franchise who doesn't trade picks, premium picks. You gave up two for him.
yeah. And I just want to say, every time he plays Pat Mahomes, he goes off.
Hmm. Hmm.
They had a rivalry going on when he was with the Raiders. So
Yeah,
we're gonna have to need that intel. A person
yeah,
that knows, his moves and what he likes to do, how to get to him in the pocket. We're like 1-6 versus Patrick Mahomes or 1-5. So we're definitely gonna need to stack up some wins against him. It would be nice to get some revenge and in the playoffs. So
yeah.
I'm very happy, to have a player that knows one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and wants to get him. Like we even had pass rushers that hungry. Like that want to get to the quarterback like that. It feels like these guys are content, get pressure, whatever, and like they didn't even do that. So like, um,
He's
yeah,
lazy.
this is amazing. If Matt's a comeback, man, like like sometimes you think about like what ifs. Like imagine if we had like traded for Crosby during that 2023 season or something like. you know, and Henry at the same time. Like we were supposed to get Henry. You knew that, right?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So like, imagine we got like both of them, but now we got both of them now. You know, um, new coaching staff. I'm still gonna temper my expectations for the most part, just because it's all unknown right now. Crosby could suck. This coaching staff could suck. Like that's more of the negative way of thinking. But like, it could also be great. This could also be great. So I'm gonna just kind of keep it level. And I'm excited though, but I'm gonna keep it level.
Part of your temperament, when it comes to the excitement, I feel like it has a lot to do with last year. And we spent so much money, we had so much anticipation, when it came to coming into the season, and it was just a big letdown. But I feel like hopefully the football gods out there, the NFL gods, they can see that. I don't know, they can just be a little bit nicer to us this year. I feel like Crosby, we got a new strength and conditioning coach. We got a new health and nutrition guy. Nick Gill, he's from like Australia. He's supposed to be like one of the best in the world. So hopefully that can play into keeping our guys healthy. But I just feel like I don't know. I'm just hoping that this season isn't a letdown like last year. Like something has got to go right. If last year and Jair didn't go right, let's hope this year and Max goes right.
Yeah.
Because quarterbacks like Josh Allen, we have not been able to get to
No.
him. Hopefully, Max can get to him. Maz can create that pressure, and Travis can work in the trenches, and we get him.
Yeah, I mean, look at I mean the times that we've played great against Allen and Mahomes, it was simple. You got pressure.
Yeah,
You made them uncomfortable. I mean, in that game last year versus Buffalo, meaning the first time we played them at Sunday Night Football, I mean, Allen was running for his life. Like in the AFC Championship game, Mahomes wasn't really running for his life, but we were getting pressure in the second half. Which I still think our defensive performance was overrated in that game, but that's a whole other conversation. I'll just say that hopefully the emphasis has changed to getting sacks, causing turnovers. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, that's definitely the main goal, and we haven't been doing that enough. And this is a great start to that. Definitely getting sacks and getting pressure and getting forced fumble turnovers. But I'm just excited whatever work we have left to do. This is a great start to the Baltimore Ravens off season.
Yep,
I'm very
absolutely,
excited. I'm really excited.
absolutely.
So you got, anything else you want to add in there?
I don't even know. It's only freaking March, but I want the season to start tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie. I know, I know we said we are gonna say this for another video, but CJ Gardner Johnson, I want you to be a Raven, man. I'm sorry. I want him to be a Raven. I'm sorry. I really do.
He had his chance.
I really do. I want him to come back. The coaches that we had last year, they didn't appreciate you. Come here with Mentor and all of them. We're gonna get you right, and we're gonna get that ring you want. Come on, CJ. Let's get it.
All right,
That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
all right.
But this is just a quick, breaking news update. We do have Max Crosby. The trade will officially go through next week, I saw. So, just look forward to that. You can start up your Madden franchises right now and try to get Max Crosby. It probably won't go through, but you could try and get him on there. But
I mean,
you
you
know,
did.
hey, I did. I
What did
you
you
know
give up?
the same thing. But I might have turned it to easier to trades, but
I said that might be the shit I did.
but yeah, we're just coming with you guys with a quick update about Max. Hopefully it leads us to this ring. And I believe it will. I want to put the good energy out there that it will. So let's get it. This is just a quick video for Birds Play Sports. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Really, guys, comment down below what you guys think about this trade. And what do you look forward to? What do you want the Ravens to do next? Let us know that down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out our social medias, our Instagram, our TikTok, our Twitter. Should all be the same name. And we're Bird Spray Sports, and we're out.
Bro.